And speaking of things on our calendars, we are going to head over to our roving reporter, Jill Olish. Over to you, Jill.
Thanks, Kim and Carrie. This is Jill coming to you as a roving reporter for Good Morning Entrepreneurs with unique solutions for mama entrepreneurs. And today I wanted to ask the question, are you letting your calendar tell you what to do? And I ask this because just in Sticky Note Time Accountability Group this past weekend, it was presented as a statement and it made me really question how I look at my calendar and change my viewpoints, because we tend to let our calendar tell us what to do instead of seeing our calendar as something that we are telling it what we are doing for the day. And not everything is set in stone. The harder part, I think, is finding a calendar that works for you and staying dedicated to what you're putting on your calendar. I have a lot of trouble finding something that works for me, for both myself as a mom, as well as our family, and for me as an entrepreneur and running my business. You want to try and find something that does work for you, whether it be each thing individually. So like I have a home center with a calendar on my refrigerator that's different than the calendar on my desk for my business, but I have a calendar on my phone that kind of controls it all. And I have found that time blocking has been the biggest help with setting the stage for what I put on my calendar and where I Tetris it. Time blocking has helped me figure out where I have this open spot on my calendar to put the things that are necessities to do outside of my home and my business. Breaking down our bigger tasks or projects that seem impossible to put on our calendar is easier to manage when it's broken down into smaller bite-sized steps that actually fit in and around what you have planned for your day. I know one of my biggest struggles was figuring out when I was going to do my chores while I was still trying to figure out when was I going to work and when was I going to have eyes on my son while he was doing what he was doing at home with me. And I had to strategically plan to do things while he was napping that I could not do with him. So that was like working and maybe some other household chores that just would have been impossible to do. So figuring out what part of your day is best to do those types of things is going to set the rest of your day up for better planning and staying more consistent with showing up for yourself as well as your appointments. I would highly recommend that you take a look at the different calendar options that are available. And if you don't find anything, see if you can make one yourself and stick with it for a little while to see if it does help improve your productivity for the day, or at least staying accountable to showing up for your appointments. And I know that doesn't work for everybody right away, but that is something that you can start working towards. And I challenge you to empower yourself with the right tools to get there too. Thanks so much, Kim and Carrie. Back to you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Jill. That was amazing. And Kim, did you hear some magic words in there from Jill? I did.
I did too, Carrie. Absolutely heard some things that I'm super proud. One of them is the Tetrising. We know that is something that Carrie and I have been doing that forever, but until I met Carrie a few years ago, I didn't ever call it that. I never thought about it being called that. So to hear it coming out of Jill's experience as well, it just makes me proud, Carrie. Look at what an influence you've been on all of us.
Oh, and Kim, I have to say, I love that everybody is becoming familiar with Tetrising their calendars, because we do need to have that flexibility and give ourselves that ability to do that, because things change, days change, priorities change, and things have to shift and move. And I get far less stressed about Tetrising my calendar than the Tetris game itself. That game just stresses me out. As soon as those blocks are filling up, yeah.
So maybe we should give a little tiny snippet, Carrie, of Tetrising to all of us is when you have something on your calendar that you know you need to fit in, and you have the ability, and I'm going to say that the ability inside of you to be okay with moving it, not being so rigid with your calendar that it causes you to get stressed out. So I think that is a beautiful thing, and I appreciate Jill sharing that this morning.
Me too, Kim.